All right. Hello, everyone. Richard Carlton here. We are here live at DevCon.
Yeah, Garrett
Florida.
Debski. This has been an exciting morning already.
So, hi, I'm Richard Carlton. We are the trainers at fmtraining.tv. We're very excited to be here live at DevCon. And in fact, this is one of the first kind of interesting live streams that it's almost like a live news thing that's going on. So we have our live news, and there's a lot to talk about. And but I just want to say to everyone, if you're here, you're at DevCon, come see us, say hi. Feel free to walk behind us. Please act appropriately on live TV would be my only request, right?
And everyone sitting at home, we're excited to bring just the flavor of DevCon to you. And that was one of the main goals behind this broadcast, and hope you enjoy.
Cool. So once again, this is sponsored by fmtraining.tv. If you want to support the live training event, making sure that we can afford to do this in the future, make sure you go and check out our training bundles and training courses at fmtraining.tv. Now, big news at DevCon, right?
Yep.
Big news is basically FileMaker has a new CEO, and we saw that in January, and the first thing he promptly did was bought out another company.
He did. And we've heard, there's been rumors going around, but we heard the final announcement this morning, and that company they bought out was StamPlay, S-T-A-M Play.
Well, vast majority of people have no idea what that actually means.
Right.
So what is StamPlay?
Well, so just to take a step back to last year, and they announced they were looking at integrating with Zapier, and then that promptly disappeared off the radar. And now we know why, and the reason is StamPlay is basically, or was, a competitor of Zapier, and FileMaker decided to buy it out and to have that ability built in to the platform somehow. We're not exactly sure what that's going to entail, but
well, what we're seeing so far, and there's more data coming out on this. I mean, this data is like hot off the press in the last 2 hours, and that is that StamPlay was a service, and it connects 150 of the most common third-party services.
Dropbox, MailChimp,
all sorts of stuff.
That type of stuff.
And so the things that used to be more difficult for developers to build, which was the whole API, I want to connect FileMaker to this or FileMaker to that. The idea is that it becomes more simple, more drag and drop. Now, Zapier is one of the dominant people in this kind of space. And so we thought FileMaker was going to integrate with that. Instead, they just turned around and bought up their own company. I mean, basically it was an Apple acquisition, because really at the end of the day, FileMaker is Apple. Mm-hmm. And of course, then they add this as a service. And so then they have FileMaker, the platform, but then they have this new service, and they're trying to figure out how to brand it. So what do we do?
Well, that's where might be the biggest announcement of the day came in, and there looks like the name of this new product is going to be Claris Connect. And
which implies that the company name has changed. So FileMaker Incorporated has become Claris. For those of you who've been around a long time, right? Yep, there you go. There's the Claris.
The new logo.
For those who've been around a long time, you understand. It'll probably, I don't know if that'll focus or not, but the idea is that it was originally Claris years ago, and at the time, the company sold, FileMaker was one product that they sold of many products, and then there was this realignment, reorganization, part of Steve Jobs, and they basically told this company that we have, that you're only going to sell FileMaker, so they rebranded the company to be FileMaker Inc. So FileMaker Inc. was the company, the product was the FileMaker platform. Now that we're starting to add things back in and sell other services and other things, then we're back to this idea of maybe it's not just about FileMaker, it's a broader conversation, but FileMaker continues to be their complete focal energy, right?
Yeah, correct. And that's what I heard from several other people here this morning. There's kind of been some confusion on what exactly is being renamed. And to clarify for everyone, FileMaker, the company, is rebranding as Claris. FileMaker Pro and Go and those products are staying FileMaker.
They're staying FileMaker. So it continues to be the FileMaker platform.
Right.
What's new is the company's rebranded, they got a new logo, right? But there is now a service that exists that they call it Claris Connect, and basically it's the StamPlay service, and that will be coming out kind of a beta kind of thing. They called it beta today, the CEO did, although I've heard they call it different things, but the idea is that it would ship early next year sometime.
Well, they actually said beta
in
potentially in
October
October, and then
this year.
some kind of fuller release potentially in the spring is what they're
Now, from my
announcing.
understanding, talking to the executive management team, is that they are FileMaker's continuing to stay more or less on their annual launch cycle for major releases of the platform, and so they're still pivoting towards a May. Obviously, every May there's a major release. That continues to be their drive and trigger. So the company they basically bought StampPlay. They absorbed the intellectual property. They absorbed the code.
Yep.
They absorbed the how this stuff works, and they also absorbed a handful of the staff there, and those became our senior managers and senior leaders at FileMaker now, right?
For those products.
For those
Yeah.
products. So it's exciting. So FileMaker's not going away. The line. The company is going to rebrand to Claris, only from the standpoint that it's more than just the FileMaker Pro or server product, right?
Yeah, correct. And I think it really signifies it's definitely not going away. In fact, it signifies the opposite, in that they're looking at kind of growing into more of this, larger company with more product offerings, obviously, because I think we heard hints this morning that Claris Connect might just be the first acquisition of many.
That was really interesting. So I have some notes.
Hints.
So I have some notes here that I want to go back through because I was scribbling notes feverishly, and there'd been advanced briefings for some people on this material, and but I was comparing with the public commentary and the public notes. FileMaker is basically a platform for problem solvers, for people to solve business problems, organizational, communication, workflow problems. It's designed for people to solve problems. That's one. Two, there are all these people that we call the citizen developer. They're the people that we talk to most of you here. I've seen a lot of you here. You've come up to me, you shake your hands, you say thank you for the training, and yes, we really appreciate your support when you buy the training, help support us. But you are the citizen developer. Now there's a handful of, Garrett, not necessarily the citizen developer, right? He's a paid professional, but really the senior people in the minority. Most people are this intermediate level developer that's maybe been using FileMaker for a while. Well, the problem is connecting FileMaker to these other services is frankly tricky for you, right? It requires some coding, programming, right, Garrett?
Yeah, and I think that's an exciting change in the conversation I hear coming from FileMaker. Is that one word he used this morning was the symbiotic relationship of the FileMaker community, and I think that's a great way to look at it. It's not just professional consultants. It's not just FileMaker trying to sell to the enterprise level customers. It takes everyone together in the community. That makes it such a special platform and a special part of the marketplace for us to work in.
Absolutely. The issue that we've been running into is that to integrate the API, it takes a high degree of technical competence, like code geek, monkey kind of coder kind of guy,
Yeah.
which Garrett can do. And so the idea is that the citizen developer can make the connections to these other services via drag and drop offering, and that's what
Yeah.
Claris Connect is about. And of course, we're starting to see that tomorrow. They've already shown some previews. Some developers have already seen it. We don't have any screenshots to show you. I've not been cleared to show that information to you. But the idea is that instead of writing code to connect or integrate, it becomes more of a drag and drop. It kind of goes back to making FileMaker more friendly and, frankly, less dependent upon extreme code.
Right.
And so that was one of the things. And so Brad comes in, and Brad has been around FileMaker for 4 or 5 years.
Yep.
He's was the vice president of sales, and Dominique, who has been in running the company for a long time, right, the CEO.
Yep.
After about, he'd been there 15, 20, 18 years, whatever. Dominique had been around a long time, right? We got Nick Hunter over here too, right? So yeah, long time.
1992.
Yeah.
1992.
So Brad comes in, and the first thing out of the gate is that, he's younger. He's actually, I asked him yesterday, he's exactly my age. He's 40, Nick age too. He's 47, 48. He's not 20, and so he's a little bit more of an adult in the room when you get a bunch of crazy 20-year-olds running wild, but he's not so old that he doesn't see the need for future forward-leaning stuff. So it's a new vision,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And frankly, the first thing out of the gate, I mean, he basically told everyone that he had made this acquisition in a press release man, in February or something. I don't know what it was. So it was like he made CEO, and like a week later, this was done, right? It was clearly he'd been cooking on this in the background for a while, right? So
The background of both persons are completely different.
yeah, they're not going to be able to hear you, Nick. So yeah.
The background of Brad and the background of Dominique completely different.
Oh yeah, they're very different people. Yeah. So yeah, because Brad is sales, and he's about making sure that the platform grows. He wants to see growth, and obviously being part of Apple, there's a pressure there. Apple's been growing at great rates, and I'm sure they would love to know why FileMaker hasn't been growing at great rates. Well, the idea is that Brad said very clearly we're going to invest a great deal strategically, right? And either it'll be organic engineering or it will be acquisitions.
Yeah.
And so clearly he's pointing out the fact that there's acquisitions going on. Are we good still?
Yeah, we just want to clarify that FileMaker is buying a company out, not selling your company. Two different. Someone's confused. They think FileMaker got sold to.
Yeah. So I've had a couple people ask about this. So I'm not sure how that rumor got started.
Yeah, so just to clarify, two major announcements this morning. FileMaker, the company, is rebranded as Claris.
The name that means the
And
name has changed.
The name has changed.
The company has been owned by Apple for 20 plus years.
And that has not changed.
And that has not changed. It's still owned by Apple, and it didn't go anywhere.
And the other announcement was FileMaker has made an acquisition of the company StamPlay.
Well, Apple made the acquisition. Well, okay, yeah. So long story, and that's how we knew this was always going on because Apple's a publicly traded company. There was a very innocuous press release buried on way down on the website that to Apple investors, letting them know that Apple Corporation had bought out this tiny company called StamPlay. Didn't say for how much, but clearly Apple was in the middle of this. They're aware of this. Apple lawyers were aware of it. Apple, the corporation, buys people all the time, but it's like the parent mothership, kind of bought Junior a toy.
A toy, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So Apple Corporation, the multi-trillion-dollar company, I guess now, bought the multi-$100 million company a play toy, which is StamPlay. So so anyway.
Hopefully that clarifies.
That clears it. So FileMaker has not gone anywhere. I had another. Yeah, it was funny. I had some people say, "Hey, FileMaker was sold." I'm like, what? No. Listen, it's important to understand that Apple uses internally a ton of FileMaker. They're going to keep FileMaker going just from the standpoint that they need it themselves. So they're not going to have it go anywhere and then have the tool, change in such a way that won't work.
I was just talking earlier with Vince, which is a developer that is working at Apple. He's working for another company, a FileMaker consultant, but he's working at Apple. That's one customer, Apple. And for Apple, FileMaker is a strategic solution. It's not something that is going anywhere
Right.
from Apple.
Yeah.
If people are very
So
afraid about this, and I am personally, that's why I keep asking this question all the time.
Right.
FileMaker is going nowhere.
Yeah. So we got Nick over here, and of course we need another microphone for Nick, but that's hard to hear Nick. So are we doing good on audio? Everything? We're still broadcasting live? All right, so we're fantastic. Nathan, have you confirmed the audio is coming out on your end over there? Yeah, good. It's looking good. So if you have questions, are we monitoring questions at all on Twitch? What are you monitoring the questions at?
Someone said, here's the scary part of the announcement to me. Quote, all new technologies will be built in the cloud with active migration to the cloud while continuing to support hybrid on-premise customers. But for how long?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be very clear, the StamPlay people are all about the cloud, and I don't think the StamPlay folks ever have local applications. To be very clear, FileMaker is, I keep saying FileMaker, Claris is well aware that there are certain regulatory requirements that some customers in order to use the product have to have it local. They cannot go to a data center, right? And so a number of international overseas customers require that they have to have it locally and locally controlled, not controlled by a U.S. corporation at Amazon. So I think that if you ask the StamPlay people, they would tell you, oh yeah, we love the cloud, it should all be the cloud, but there's also this thing called reality. And unless they, I think, and then also, frankly, if you feel concerned about that, feel free to send them a mail and make sure that they hear it loud and clear. Brad, during the CEO, during the messaging, very much did not, he wasn't super clear on this. They skimmed through. A lot of this information I have is because we've gone through executive briefings on the material.
What they
right?
did is it's very clear. It's a new product called Claris Connect. They're adding products. They're not replacing products.
Right.
FileMaker Pro, FileMaker Go is not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere. So the Claris Connect,
it's
they basically, the whole idea is that they didn't want to build this stuff from scratch. It was easier and cheaper for them to buy out a company and basically get kind of a Zapier kind of experience, right, where you drag and drop it. That drag and drop service will be an online service, right? And so that will probably be a subscription that you have to pay for, right? The alternative is that you can sit there and hire a coder or learn to code it yourself. But, I would assume that they would price it aggressively so we can, integrate it. But that's where this goes. So people ask that question, and we actually, more questions from the audience? People, questions? They're all huddling at the keyboard looking at the question. So if you...
about how they called it low-code environments, and that's a new trend.
They're asking about the low-code trend?
Low-code
Yeah, I mean, FileMaker, there was there's always these on-trendy terms, right? It's like you having the trendy sneakers, a sneakerhead, right? And so one of the trend terms is low-code environment, right? There's also the...
that's been around for a few years, and the other term that FileMaker actually came out with last year was the Workplace Innovation Platform, and that's kind of the term they came up for themselves.
Yeah,
that
what was that category
pushing.
the G2 crowd had?
That's
part of that.
That's the name that they pushed the G2
yeah,
crowd
it's
was
a
Workplace
Innovation Platform.
And we heard more about that this morning from Andy Lacates, and he was talking about that as not just being a marketing term, but that's actually their vision internally at FileMaker for what the platform should become. So it's not just a cute term that they came up with to kind of create their own marketing. It's what, when they look at FileMaker and what they want to create for everyone out there that uses FileMaker, that's kind of the key.
Yeah, it's all about
it.
The system developer and making sure that they can successfully create the tools that they need to create.
The low-code stuff is something they talk about for a long period of time.
Yeah.
It's something that's there in the air for
Yeah.
a decade.
Yeah.
So the concept behind the low-code is that then the user can focus on what the solution can do
Okay.
instead of focusing on how to build the solution. So
Okay.
you focus on what the solution can do, what you can do with the solution, what you can build, instead of focusing on how to build it. So that the low code is that. The philosophy is this: don't worry about the code, drag and drop.
And Claris Connect is just another example of that, of bringing low code. So you don't have to dive into the API yourself. You could say, when this happens,
And
I
this-
can.
And this
Are
is
you
something
hearing him?
at RCC we are very, very focused on.
Slide this way. We have to huddle because Nick decided that he has to talk, so we have to get him into the video.
No, it's okay.
Everyone who loves lean design, okay, we've been bowed to Nick. Nick, lean design.
Hi guys. So we at RCC we have this philosophy of simplicity, and that is what we do with the lean design philosophy behind. I know we invested a lot on this for our audience because we know it is important. What happened today with FileMaker is finally they got the point right? That if people has to go and code crazy stuff on the web and let's go Java. Don't stay with FileMaker. You can go Java, you can go Xcode, and then if you have to code, like
Might as well use something else, right?
Then why stay in
use something
FileMaker?
that is free and use something that is well known. If you use FileMaker, it's because you want something fast, something cheaper, and something. But you still expect great quality, and that's what FileMaker is providing today. Great quality on the product. The product is
Great quality at a great cost and a great speed to market.
We are in the market for a long period of time. Okay, this version we have is the most proficient version, the 18 version, the most powerful one, but they still have this philosophy of simplicity, drag and drop, dragging things and drawing things. But they were going away from this with all those command line on the interface and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was something that was scaring people and getting people out of the platform because they say, okay, it's no longer for me.
Yeah. All right, so if you have questions, Miles, are we suggesting that they go to FM on Twitch and comment there? Is that where they're commenting, or where?
Twitch and YouTube.
You're watching Twitch and YouTube live, so if you want to comment on either location, you can, and we will try to throw your questions up here, right? So.
And then they're asking about other things. Any update on the move from AWS?
The question was,
The
is
move
there any
from AWS?
That's what the question is from here.
Okay, so to be very clear, AWS is a dominant market force. It's not going anywhere. FileMaker, okay, so FileMaker has a current product in market called FileMaker Cloud for AWS. It was kind of rebranded. So FileMaker Cloud is for AWS. That's because FileMaker is working on their next iteration of this, which is better. They've been talking about it at DevCon for a couple of years now. And so they're on a track. They'll probably get more information on that tomorrow. In fact, we should probably come back live tomorrow and have another conversation. We'll have additional information for you. But basically, where now you have to set up your own server, you have to understand stacks and all this kind of really advanced stuff to set up your own Amazon cloud server. FileMaker is going to front end that all. It still runs on AWS, but your entire interface is in FileMaker. You abstract that away, and so you don't really interface with AWS at all, right? You just interface with FileMaker. So you're going to, at the end of the day, you'll pay FileMaker. FileMaker will run the infrastructure on AWS. They will pay AWS, but your stuff still lives on AWS. So they're not really going away from AWS.
And because recently we have an experience with this, and because AWS can be a little bit scary for people.
Yeah.
When you first enter things, you don't even know where to click.
Yeah.
So I hope I know FileMaker know that, and I hope they will address the issue with FileMaker Cloud because
The new product. We've been looking at it.
Yeah.
It's much better.
Yeah.
But just to clarify for everyone, this is a new version of FileMaker Cloud. It's not going to replace the
FileMaker
existing
server. No. Yeah.
FileMaker server at all.
Basically, is that the FileMaker Cloud that we're using now, more or less, comes back from FileMaker 15, and there were some, that was their first effort to get there. It works pretty well once you get it set up, but it takes a very technical person to set it up, right? That's why we have our awesome Jacob Taylor. Hi, Jacob, if you're there. Jacob is awesome. And a lot of you know Jacob. Fantastic guy. He is an expert at FileMaker, what we call Cloud for AWS. So really, I understand there'll be really, through at least the next year or two, there's going to be 3 server products. There's FileMaker Server for Mac and Windows, which technically you could take the Windows one and run it on AWS. Then there's FileMaker Cloud for AWS, which is the current cloud offering. And then there is a new cloud version that will be easier for people to onboard, to sign up, to get going. That hasn't shipped yet, right? But they keep talking about it, and I think they're probably a little distracted with the whole we're changing our name to Claris thing and the Standplay thing, but I think that'll be, if it's not back in focus, it will be back in focus, and they will be, because they're planning on shipping that. I think that's pretty soon as well. So, yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, we think, I don't know. Hell, we don't.
Maybe
we're
we'll
not
find
told
out
anything.
tomorrow.
We have no idea. We'll find out tomorrow what they say. So,
it's a very exciting time because finally FileMaker understand that they need to address things. They need to focus on users more than ever.
yeah, they are.
And more feature. We don't need more feature.
Yeah, well, they call them citizen developers. They call you, everyone there, a citizen developer. Unless you're, a code ninja and you do this professionally full time, right? Questions?
People are still getting confused. They think it's going to become Claris 18, but it's
Okay, so let me help everyone here. So, the company, there's a platform, and then there's individual products. Okay, the company name changed from FileMaker Incorporated to Claris, and they are a wholly owned subsidiary of Apple. They've been owned by Apple. They continue to be owned by Apple. They're in the same building. They haven't gone anywhere. They just changed the logo. Then there are individual products called FileMaker Pro, FileMaker Go, FileMaker Server, FileMaker this, that, and the other. Those are all staying the same. At some point, you will probably see FileMaker Pro, and in the corner it'll say it's a product of Claris. The little logo, it'll say, it's like when you buy an iPhone. The company's called. It's not. The company's not iPhone. The company's Apple. What kind of phone do you have? You have an iPhone 8, 9, 10, whatever the hell you have, right? So this is, you have FileMaker, right? It's a product under FileMaker Pro Advanced will be one product under this company umbrella, right?
Something I had a discussion with Dominique long time ago. I was just
And Dominique is the previous CEO.
previous CEO, and he explained to me the philosophy behind changing the name back in the time from Claris to FileMaker. Behind the idea was that Dominique got hired to kill products. He killed Apple Walk, Claris Walks, or whatever they call.
So they simplify their product line.
So they killed all homepage,
Yep.
Claris, all those Claris lineup of product.
Yeah.
To make sure that people understand that now the company is one product only, they call the company the name of the products.
Yeah, and back in the day, so as much as you folks are confused now about this, the confusion was the reverse back
Exactly.
in the day. It was
Back in the confusion
and
was
everyone,
back-
and
They're
everyone
streamlining,
yeah.
and now
So,
they're
so for those of you who don't understand this,
Diversifying.
and for next year, it's for this company, for RCC, it's 30 years for us in the business. So back in the day, the company was called Claris. We still have a handful of Claris shirts, right? The logo has changed, but what they did is all those people that did that are gone. Frankly, Steve Jobs was part of that. The
Yes.
reason that a lot of this happened was
Yes.
Steve Jobs was right in the middle of simplifying the platforms. They simplified it. Now we've kind of gone full circle. The management team that's there now pretty much wasn't around in those days. For them, it's brand new. For me, and I'm not even that old, for me, it's like, oh, damn, we're back to the future. Back to the future with our...
Back in '95.
yeah, and so, but what the reason they're doing is that they're adding some really important. This is not a stupid product. Adding API drag and drop capabilities is a huge deal.
Huge.
Huge deal.
I always said to the FileMaker folks, FileMaker Pro needs to become the hub of those technologies. Like Steve Jobs was
Right.
talking about the Macintosh, the hub of the media, right? The Macintosh should be a hub for the media. Remember
Right.
that time where
It's up.
It needs to be muted.
Oh, he needs to be muted. Yeah, we're getting
okay.
echo in here.
Yeah, I'm talking too loud. Okay, so so FileMaker needs to become the hub of technology. I mean, if you need to interact with AI, if you need to interact with whatever service you need, you use FileMaker as a terminal, as a hub, as the starting point, right? Because it's difficult to use those, to have kind of a base, a foundation to use those services online. You need something. It's hard to get. You need to go to Java, the complicated Java, complicated PHP. FileMaker file new, and now with this product, you can just create a table and link the table to the service, right? So it's cool.
Well, very exciting news here from FileMaker at the developer conference. So once again, FileMaker acquired a company. They acquired a company that provides a service to allow you to easily connect basically your FileMaker application to third-party services. That company was called StandPlay. That product has been rebranded to Claris Connect and will be forthcoming later this year and early next year as a service. It's a brand new service we have not had before. The product line, the FileMaker platform product line, continues to exist as is and is not being renamed at all, and it's not going anywhere. This is a new service, so it's a net new thing that FileMaker is producing. I keep saying FileMaker. It's going to take me a while to unwind that.
Yeah,
that Claris is producing. And because they added this new service, they decided to rebrand themselves. So, how we doing? Good? Good.
Yeah.
All right, so,
About how they have Claris software still.
Yep.
Someone said they're mad because they killed Jazz a long time ago.
man, I don't even remember that one. Jazz. Could have
Bento.
been. It was Bento.
JZZ, one of the best products ever. Very stupid decision to kill it. Even Steve Jobs would have done that.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
What he was doing, what Jazz was doing.
Jazz. Yeah, I don't remember that product. So, other questions that we have?
They said, was it originally Lotus, maybe it was called?
You're back to 1, 2, 3 and stuff. Yeah, that goes back. Yeah, that's back to Jobs buying people up. FileMaker was originally called Nutshell, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really want to drag us through that.
Yeah.
So that's too much of a conversation. So, Wild. Other questions from the audience?
Question
Yeah, the rub is with that is that every time we shut Garrett up, it's all better. Yeah, no, the problem is that it was designed for, once again, our broadcast time for 2 people, and that Nick
okay, it's my fault.
has to horn his way into the conversation.
Yeah, Garrett's pretty much not in the frame at all.
Yeah, so he's in between.
I can get him.
Nah,
I
that's
can't get Nick, so it's one
It's okay. You know what? Look,
all right. Good. Other questions? You can pedal left. So the developer conference is very exciting. A lot of people are here. In fact, I had to horn in or horn over or move over or whatever I'm doing. So
Yeah.
So
So we're gonna try to do probably several more of these over the
we're
week.
gonna do another
so
broadcast tomorrow. Bring it up
look,
to date. We're gonna take this content, edit it, clean it up, get it out the door for everyone.
Yeah.
Hopefully the audio echo is not too bad, but you never know. Right?
Yep.
So well, welcome to audio hell, right? So we buy all this nice equipment. It's set up for 2 people, and then we have the third person just like, and he's over there going, I gotta say something. I gotta say something.
Everyone loves Nick, though. We can't keep him out. So
No, it's hard to shut up a good guy, right? I know.
That's
it's
right.
Like, mute Nick. All right. So, any other questions from the active audience participation? We are trying to get Brad Freitag to actually come sit down and talk to us, which would be really fantastic. But I don't know. We'll see.
People want to know what other products are coming along with the change to Claris. Are they bringing more software through?
Well, the only
So the question is, people are wondering what other products are going to come through with this future of Claris now.
the only thing that they've announced is the acquisition of Stamplay, and that once again it's spelled STAMPLAY, Stamplay, and that's going to be rebranded as Claris Connect. That's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
only they've hinted that we're working on growing the platform through both internal growth and acquisitions, but that has nothing else has been announced.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, if they gave people more than this, they'd all poop their pants. It'd be bad because it's about all they can handle right now. As it is, a lot of you here are freaking out that they changed the company name and they think the product's going away. So
yeah, we did a coin flip on which was more important, changing the name to Claris or the acquisition. So I mean, it's
well, I think
it
the
kinda all
acquisition's
comes
more
together.
strategic. Yeah, I know. It's just a branding thing, and they're trying to, because it's a new CEO, a new vision. He's much more aggressive, and he's less, risk averse. He's willing to take a risk to get things out there and to push along. So the days of FileMaker, kind of being kind of lethargic a little bit, I think that's over. I think you got a new boss, and a new sheriff is in town, as they say. It's an old old term that you hear. Questions? By the way, for those who can't see, we have 3 production engineers behind us that are rapidly running the broadcast. And if you knew the tech that went into this, once again, this is officially sponsored by fmtraining.tv, where you can support our exercise, because this took a lot of equipment, because all the stuff we had last time, we threw it away, and we got brand new Roland high-end AV equipment.
And how can people stay notified of our coming broadcast in a couple of days?
Well, what we're going to do is we will. That's a really good question.
If we have something scheduled, obviously we'll send out an email
We'll send it out.
blast.
Yeah, we'll send an email out. So what you need to do is make sure you go to our website, and if you've downloaded Starting Point, you'll be on our newsletter list. If you're not, then question.
No, I'm going to say something about that too. If you guys are watching right now and you're trying to find out how to be notified about our streams,
Yes.
if you are following us on Twitch, if you make a Twitch account, or even I believe YouTube Live as well, if you subscribe to us, you will get a notification when we go live.
Yeah, I get a notification.
And we always put a buffer on before the live stream actually starts. So
Yeah.
today we had a timer for 3 minutes with just the background of DevCon,
Yeah.
the conference hall. So we're here. We'll be notifying you before we go live. There might be a bigger email directly from us, but that's still very hard to get.
And then that is a list of people that we do email. We will email them, preferably with the correct date on it, unlike what we did yesterday, right?
But that's once again, that's if we can get something scheduled. So if you want, if we're able to pull in some of the vendors here or talk to a FileMaker employee or something, make sure you go subscribe on Twitch or YouTube so you can get those notifications a few minutes ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, basically what we'll do is if we can get Brad to sit down and talk to us, then we will let him kind of dominate the schedule a little bit, because he's in as you can imagine, it's DevCon. It's super high demand. A lot of people here. A lot of excitement. A lot of excitement going on. So
Yeah, just so everyone, coming yesterday, everyone's badges had no FileMaker on it, and so the rumor mill went crazy even more.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
everyone walks out of the keynote, and there's Claris banners and signage
Yeah. So as
everywhere,
you went
and-
into the keynote, it was FileMaker, and then as soon as they closed the door and all the 1,000 or 1,200 people are in there, whatever it is, then behind all the minions jumped out and they
Yep.
changed all the signage at DevCon, right? All the shirts changed, the banners, the wall changed. They got up. I don't know if you could see it, but up there's a big white thing on the ceiling. I don't know if they had some sort of you can see that?
It's
yeah.
right behind Garrett's head.
Garrett's
right-
head.
you
It's like
can-
that's like 40 feet in the air, right? So they had to get like a high lift out there and get some sort of minion up there to hang that thing. It's like quick, right? So
So we have other questions in here. People are concerned with the name change. Is that going to do anything to FileMaker itself? Are they going to change their platform at all, or is it just a name change, rebrand kind
right.
of
So
thing?
once again, for those of you joining us late, FileMaker, the corporation, it's a subsidiary of Apple. Apple owns them, right? That company, the name has changed. The FileMaker platform is a thing that we call, and the FileMaker platform consists of FileMaker Pro, Advanced, and Server, and Cloud, and these things. Those are not going anywhere. They're still called FileMaker. It's still the FileMaker platform. Once again, this is like Apple makes an iPhone, and they make. In fact, Apple makes the iOS platform, right? So Apple's the company. They make the iOS platform, and there are individual products in there. There's a watch. There's a phone. An iPad, an iPad Mini. Same thing with Claris is now the company, and then there's the platform, and it's FileMaker Pro, Advanced, Server, Cloud, and etc. And so, in addition to that, they're adding one new thing, which is called Claris Connect, which is a service. It's not going to be a downloadable application. It's a service that you will subscribe to or whatever. We'll see all that tomorrow.
They said it was a subscription. That's the only thing that they've said so far, but it is a subscription.
And then you hook it to your FileMaker application. It allows you to drag and drop integration with Dropbox, 150 different services. So that's a lot, right?
Yeah, it's definitely an expansion of the company. It's not.
They didn't get rid of anything.
They're not removing anything.
They didn't really get rid of anything, right?
No.
And they just added basically a drag and drop services capability. So how's that? Is that simple? Nothing gotten rid of. They're adding a drag and drop services capability.
That's called Claris Connect.
Claris
and
Connect.
The name of the mother company has changed from FileMaker Inc. to Claris.
Yeah.
Claris, I guess, International is Inc. is the
Yeah,
official
so-
name, but FileMaker Pro, FileMaker, those are still staying.
They're all the
FileMaker.
same. They're all the same. Absolutely all the same. All right. Other questions from the troops?
Yeah, there's a really good one in here. They're asking, is the Claris logo Pac-Man eating Pac-Man, eating more Pac-Man, eating another Pac-Man? Or is it a square peg in round holes?
Okay. We've heard lots of explanations of the logo, but
Oh yeah, we're calling it Pac-Man, but we're old guys, right? I'm an old guy, so I played Pac-Man. So if you hear random Pac-Man noises in the videos, then you'll know what that's about, right?
We should take suggestions for people's take on the logo.
Well,
and
they did a
see
little
what,
video about how they created it, and they were like, oh, it's this and it's that,
It's a
and
blank
the open area
workspace
means that
and-
we're, it's like this a lot of meaning and stuff. And I'm like, the three people came to me and went, it's Pac-Man. So, anyway, other questions? Yes.
So we have a question here. How does Stamplay differ from Zapier? I use Zapier a bit, and it does not really work with FileMaker.
Yeah, so the technical implementation will be a little bit different, I'm sure, but clearly it's a direct competitor. There's no question.
Yeah, and really we don't have details on that yet. We might get some of that tomorrow. And
this
in
would
which
be a
case
deal.
we would come and give it to you.
Yeah.
But my guess, and I have,
you use Zapier, right?
I do, and I have no inside knowledge from FileMaker. My guess, as a developer, having used Zapier, is that it would probably work about the same, except you would have have the ability to directly create or delete or update stuff in FileMaker from these other applications. So if you've used Zapier before, basically think of it as like a FileMaker trigger. So when something happens in one app, then it does something in another app. So when someone drops a new document in Dropbox, you can have it send yourself an email and log
and create a
an
record in
entry
FileMaker if you wanted to.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, but that part is not available in Zapier. So that's
Yeah,
really that same
the
type
tight
of capability
integration would be really great. Yeah.
is basically what I can see them bringing with
Yeah, I mean that's
StemPlay.
clearly where they're going with this thing. So the idea is that it's a competitor to Zapier. If you love Zapier, you'll still be able to use Zapier. In fact, it doesn't really eliminate anything at all. But now, if you wanted to integrate, someone comes to me and says, "I want to integrate Dropbox." Well, we got to go find the code. We got to tweak the code. We got to make it work for you. Theoretically, the cost would be much
Yeah.
less, and in drag and drop and whatever, right?
Right,
So-
exactly. Right now, I have several customers that are using it, and basically, we have to go from something to basically like Google Sheets, and then from there we can pull that into file. So basically, we'll be able to really simplify some of these solutions.
Simplify
we have.
workflow and the construction, the development, much better. Other questions?
So with these with them acquiring another company, is there any rumors or hints towards if they're acquiring any other companies that might help FileMaker progress?
Okay,
as
I have
a-
not heard any rumors as to other acquisitions, and as it is, they're having a hard time keeping the secret. So when they to be clear, this was telegraphed about a mile away, right? When they made a public posting that Apple bought this company, and then the guys who ran the company show up on FileMaker's website as executives, right? It's not a secret anymore, right? Which is what happened about 2 months ago. And I contacted them and said, "Hey, would you like to comment before I make a video?" And they say, "Richard, we really prefer you not make a video because we want to make a big announcement." So we gracefully cooperate with FileMaker. So basically everything that's going on here is with the blessing of FileMaker. We're helping explain the message because it does scare people, right? It's been 20 years or whatever it's been, 18 years of it being FileMaker Inc., and now it's going to be something else. And like, oh my God, it's going away. It's just window. I mean, from a very quick perspective, it's window dressing, right? I mean, the CEO here would argue with me that that's not true, and I understand his point. But from our perspective of a code person or building a solution, you don't care what it's called as long as it works, right? And it's reliable and you trust the company. Same company, same people, but new CEO with a more aggressive vision.
And I think the thing that people are worried about is what they're trying to grow. The idea that FileMaker Inc. is FileMaker Pro. That's what they're trying to grow, in that Claris Corporation has multiple product offerings. So they got FileMaker Pro, they have Claris Connect, they have FileMaker Go.
Yeah.
So it's a part of this. The rebrand is part of the growth of the platform.
Yes.
There's
this makes it simpler. If it's simpler, it's better, it's faster, more people will come to the platform. At the end of the day, they sell more product, they make more money.
And there's nothing to be afraid of. It's great news for all of us professional developers, citizen developers out there, because they're giving us things that we could do before, but it's making our lives easier, and it's making us be able to say yes to the customer easier, which at the end of the day is all that we can ask for. So,
all right, cool. Any other questions? We're going to kind of probably.
Yeah, some people are jumping in a little late. They're wondering if we're going to turn this into a video.
Yeah, this is all going to be carved up, turned into a video. The video editing guy is sitting over here. He's been smoking medical marijuana. We're concerned that it'll be good quality, but. But yeah, we're in great shape. We're going to cut it all up, edit it. Hopefully, we have it out to you tomorrow. Cross our fingers, right?
And then, do we have any idea who we might be interviewing tomorrow, if there is going to be any interviews?
Well, if we can get Brad, we'll do Brad. Okay, but
Brad,
outside
CEO,
that, we'll see what
Claris.
happens, right?
All right.
I mean, we already talked to some of the PMs, and they're like, we're not allowed to talk to you. So, yeah.
Anybody from like plugins? Anybody that makes plugins?
No,
or 360
it's
works or anything
we
like that?
could do that. Here's the problem: is that doing live TV, it's much different than doing a demo and showing the stuff. It's much harder. We would normally do that. We would probably just record that, and you would get it in post-production in a week or so, right? So once again, live TV, that's why we need you to continue to subscribe to our training and helping fund the piggy bank so we can afford to bring you awesome live training. because if you knew I'll take a photo and we'll post a photo of what we call the cooter box. It was originally for turtles. They have turtles here that are called, they're turtles. It's a great Florida cooter or whatever they call it. It's a cute little turtle. They actually have live alligators here. I've been told we can feed junior engineers that suck to the alligators tonight, right? So we'll get some
6:30
photos
tonight.
6:30 tonight. We're going to feed some junior engineers that suck this out of here, right? So going to be gator bait, gator snacks. Ready, David? The video sucks. You're going to the gators,
If
baby.
it's not ready by tonight.
It's not ready by tonight.
You're in
We're
there.
feeding you the gators. Anyway, so there are some turtles here called the Great Florida Cooter. Anyway, so we have a box here. It looks like a turtle box. We call it the Cooter box, but it's the gear. It's about $5,000 in gear that allow us to do the live broadcast. So when you buy the training, it helps us afford all the toys so we can bring you live video.
To DevCon.
DevCon.
Live to DevCon.
All right, we're going to video. We're going to post for a photo. All right, we post for a photo. All right, anything else? We're going to wrap stuff up. You have a closing video, or do we have a
maybe
last
ideas,
question?
Maybe talk about a little bit of new divisions. Someone's asking if Rick is still the head PM, and maybe how
Okay,
their
so
internals are working.
basically, what would be public knowledge is that Rick Kalman is still there as a director of product management. There is now a VP of product management, which is one of the guys from Standplay. Robert Halsey is still here. He's awesome. And Frank Liu is still the VP of engineering. Ann Monroe is VP of marketing. Brad Freitag was the VP of sales. Now he's the CEO. The director of sales was Ryan McCann. Ryan McCann is now VP of sales. So we will actually, when we do post edits here, we will make sure we throw that slide up here so you can see the people involved. But largely, it's the same people we had before. It's just that Dominic moved out and then Brad moved up, right? And so and you so basically have a sales guy who wants to sell product, innovate. He knows to sell. He has to innovate, and then to innovate, we have to either make some cool tech or we have to go buy out the cool tech. So anyway, cool. All right. Well, we'll see everyone tomorrow. This is Richard Carlton.
Garrett Debsky.
We're live from FileMaker DevCon 2019 in Florida, and we'll catch you tomorrow.